All right, let's just dive right into this explainer and finally demystify the whole concept of forward and reverse proxies. You know, if you're prepping for some grueling technical interviews, maybe an architecture exam, or honestly, if you just want to solidify your mental model of how networks actually work, today is all about turning those kind of abstract, confusing concepts into solid, concrete rules. We're going to break the whole thing down using some really practical, everyday examples so that by the end of this, you'll have a crystal clear framework for exactly what these intermediaries actually do.
So to really ground this, let's start with a classic mental model. I mean, have you ever asked a friend to cover for you during one of those brutal early morning college lectures? If you have, well, you actually already understand the core mechanic here. The professor calls your name, your friend shouts present, and basically they act as your stand-in. And you know what? In the digital world of computer networking, we do the exact same thing to route our traffic.
Here is our roadmap for today. First up, the proxy metaphor. Second, the forward proxy. Third, we'll hit the advantages of forward proxies. Fourth, the reverse proxy. And finally, we'll wrap up with some tools and real-world questions.
All right, Section 1, the proxy metaphor, and really understanding the role of the intermediary.
So, by definition, a proxy is basically an intermediary acting as a substitute. Just picture your private network for a second, like your corporate office setup, or even just your home Wi-Fi. You're sitting there, perfectly safe inside that perimeter, but obviously you need to access the public internet. Well, a proxy sits right on that boundary between your private network and the wild public web, and it manages the entire flow of requests and responses going back and forth.
It's actually super cool how perfectly this digital architecture maps to physical privacy. Imagine a VIP, maybe a huge celebrity, who needs a new mobile SIM card, but they absolutely want to remain anonymous. Obviously, instead of walking down to the market themselves, they just hand their ID and some cash to a personal assistant. The assistant interacts with the vendor, buys the SIM, and the vendor literally only ever sees the assistant. The VIP stays completely hidden. In our network scenario, you are the VIP, and the proxy server is your trusty assistant, interacting with the web entirely on your behalf.
Moving on to Section 2, the forward proxy, and how we protect the client side.
Okay, let's look at how this builds a really secure data flow. When you sit down at your desk and request a website, your device doesn't actually connect directly to the internet. Nope. Instead, your client sends the request and the forward proxy intercepts it. And here's where the magic happens. The proxy strips away your IP address, completely masks it with its own, and then it goes and fetches the data from the web server. Because of this, the web server just assumes the proxy is the one making the request, which keeps your personal digital identity completely under wraps.
Now, because of this setup, forward proxies offer some pretty massive advantages. First up is privacy. Like we said, your IP is completely masked. Second is security. Think about it. If a requested web page comes bundled with some nasty malware, the proxy intercepts and filters that data out. It acts like a shield before the bad stuff can even reach your local device. Third is logging. Network admins can track exactly which sites are being visited. And finally, bypassing. Sometimes users actually route through external forward proxies just to bypass local network restrictions, mainly because the local network only ever sees a connection going to the proxy, not the final destination.
But wait, there is one more massive advantage here, and it's caching. Just imagine a highly anticipated movie trailer drops online. One employee clicks the link, the proxy goes out, fetches that heavy video file, sends it back to the employee, but then it smartly saves or caches a copy right there in its local memory. So when the next 50 employees inevitably click that exact same viral link, the proxy doesn't go back out to the internet, it just serves up the cached copy instantly. This is a total game changer. It dramatically enhances performance and saves the organization just a massive amount of bandwidth.
All right, jumping into Section 4, the reverse proxy, and protecting the server side.
So here is the absolute crucial takeaway for this part. Spatial placement completely changes the proxy's role. While a forward proxy sits close to the client, a reverse proxy sits all the way across the internet, stationed right in front of the backend web servers. When you try to access a website, you aren't actually connecting to their core database. No way. You're hitting their reverse proxy, which essentially acts as the absolute frontline shield for the entire application backend.
And because it stands guard like that, the reverse proxy provides some incredible server-side benefits. First up, security. Specifically, it's amazing at mitigating DDoS attacks by absorbing floods of fake traffic so the delicate backend servers stay completely safe. Second is load balancing. If you have a whole cluster of servers, the reverse proxy intelligently distributes incoming requests evenly, making sure no single machine gets overwhelmed. And finally, fault tolerance. Literally, if a backend server catches fire and goes down, the proxy instantly reroutes incoming traffic to the surviving servers and the end user never even notices a glitch.
So this creates a really brilliant symmetrical difference between the two concepts, which is honestly perfect for cementing it into your memory. Think about it. A forward proxy sits on the client side to hide the client, heavily utilizing things like bypassing and caching. Meanwhile, a reverse proxy sits on the server side to protect the server, relying on load balancing and fault tolerance. They are basically exact mirrors of one another. Pretty cool, right?
Moving into Section 5, Tools and Final Questions, where we look at real-world applications. Now, if you're actually out there deploying these architectures, you really need to know the industry standards. To set up a robust forward proxy for your outbound traffic, one of the most popular historical tools out there is called Squid. And yeah, you can easily remember that by just thinking of Squid Game. On the flip side, if you need a powerful reverse proxy for back-end load balancing, NGINX is an absolute heavyweight in the industry. Now, while some tools can technically do both, these are definitely the flagship names you'll see associated with their respective proxy types.
To wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a bit of a challenge. Engaging with these edge cases is exactly how you make sure this knowledge actually sticks. So I've got 2 questions for you to research. First, is a proxy the exact same thing as a firewall? I mean, they both filter traffic, right? But is there a fundamental difference in how they operate? Second, can a single physical machine actually be configured to act as both a forward and a reverse proxy at the exact same time? Take some time to brainstorm on those. Thanks so much for joining me to demystify proxies today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.